I remembered a story when I was reflecting with you all here today of me in 4th grade, growing up in a very small town in Oregon as one of the only immigrant kids in my school. And I remember reading about Ruth Bader Ginsburg because I was obsessed with these little books where they would say, like, so you want to talk about, I don't know if anyone else my age remembers those, but I read about her and I fell in love with her very quickly, and I wanted to recite her speech for a speech competition or a poetry competition or something along those lines. And I was told, no, it's too controversial, it's too much. And I didn't understand it because how could a Supreme Court justice be too controversial or too much? They put her there for a reason. So if we're talking about what are the things that we want to do moving forward, I want to make sure that no little girl or little boy or anyone feels like their ideas are too much for someone else to be heard. And that's kind of what Root means to me, and that's what I hope we all kind of carry forward. Alright, so if everyone would like to turn on the candles and stand up, and please sing with me because we're all in this together. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost and now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieve. How precious is that grace appeared the hour I first believed.
And I came all the way from Tracy, California, Central Valley. So I'm trying to represent the millions of immigrants that work in the fields. Those unsung heroes, nobody recognizes them. Some of them work even under the fire. When we were smoking here, really bad ashes, they were still cropping for us. So I came to tell you the futures are at high risk right now. So I'm urging you to, if you have Facebook, there is a group called March for Our Future. It's a protest group. It's protesting against the Senate, trying to replace RBG before inauguration. If you can, it's a group with over 500,000 members. And this group tells you on Facebook platform which city is organizing, what are they doing. If you can volunteer, call your representatives and do it for the thousands of workers that bring our produce, our fruits and vegetables to our tables every day. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rin. I'm a senior at Los Lobos High School. And I would love to stand up here and say that I grew up watching Ruth Ginsburg fight and that I loved reading about what she did on the news. But the truth is, I had no idea who she was until she died. But learning about all that she has done for gender equality has made me feel so dirty and so guilty for not knowing her sooner. I'm sure that she was a great woman, and I'm sorry to all of you, because I can't imagine what it's like to see the leader who gave you your rights suddenly die. To make up for it, my commitment is that I will actively seek out the truth and keep fighting for equality for everyone. Thank you.
So I'm Kevin Wilk, Mayor Pro Tem in Walnut Creek. When President Clinton nominated Ruth Bader Ginsburg, June 14th, 1993, to the Supreme Court, being Jewish myself and seeing this as the third person that was nominated as a Supreme Court justice, and the first woman, the first woman who was Jewish, was so prideful for my family, for me, And President Clinton said that she's a trailblazer and that she had the qualities to make a great justice. And boy, did she go there and beyond. She became an icon for women, an icon for men, an icon for democracy, and a historic figure for all generations. And my commitment 4 years ago when I ran for office for the first time was to make a difference, to bring these social justice issues and democratic values, and I'm talking in the larger sense, not political sense, to Walnut Creek, and to be able to ensure that we have this for our entire region and state.
My name is Christina Forrest. I am a veteran, and it's because of Ruth Bader Ginsburg that women like me are able to serve in the military, that we can get a housing allowance and all the other allowances that other male veterans could get that we couldn't get. It is because of Ruth Bader Ginsburg that somebody who looks like me, even if I'm single and get pregnant, I don't have to get kicked out of the military. It's because of Ruth Bader Ginsburg that I have choices. And it's because of her that I am so grateful. So grateful. Thank you.
My name is Shaila Dixit, and I'm one of the co-organizers along with Marilyn.
And why did you all think it was important to organize this event here in Walnut Creek?
Well, when we heard the news, obviously we were devastated. I mean, she's such an icon. And I just felt like there was a need to be in community at a time when we are not connected, and to really reaffirm the values. We couldn't just let her go without, acknowledging in community everything she's done for us.
And today there's been a big, I think it was a really impactful
We were surprised,
thing.
yeah, we were so happy because all we did was put some flyers out and hope people came, and people came because people loved her. So
Yeah, there's probably a couple of hundred people here, right?
Easily, yes.
And it seemed that the reflection where you asked people to identify what they would do to
Yes.
carry her legacy forward, what will you, that was a hit, I think, and a lot of people started to think, what will you be doing to carry her legacy forward?
Well, I'm an immigrant mom, and I'm a domestic violence counselor. I work with women and children every day who've lost their voices, who've lost their rights. So if I were to reflect on her legacy, I'm going to make sure that I listen to every voice that's raised, that I hear the problems, I make sure everybody is treated who walks through our doors with equality and equity. And I carry those values into my home, teaching my children. They're the next generation. So.
And for you, as a woman who already advocates for women, as we know, many domestic violence survivors happen to be women. In what way has she already maybe empowered you to further use your voice and to already be advocating?
I think
for
her
women?
impact is huge because the first thing women lose are their rights, and even when you have them, sometimes you don't know them. So the work is only half done when she's got the rights. We have to keep working to make sure everybody knows about it and everybody leans into practicing that. But I think right now, when women stand at an equal footing in the eyes of law, is huge for women who are being denied that in their homes. So we thank her.
Yeah, my name is Martin Valbuena. I'm 18 years old. For why it's important to be here, just, of course, many different explanations. I'm trying to find probably the most important one. And I think it's that, I don't know how to say, but RBG didn't change the world in one day. It comes from many small actions and many people there with her. And so I want to be here with her, even with her death. And again, you need to show up for every moment, for every opportunity there is to bring our world closer to a better future. Like, I came here today and I learned more about RBG and what she meant to people. And so I learned and developed as a person here. And that's what progress is about. It's about step by step, moment by moment. And so some people might say, oh, this doesn't really have an impact. But if it just had an impact on one person, what one person said here has impact on one of the people going around, that's progress. And that's how we should keep going.
And a theme of tonight was honoring her as a gender justice warrior. And so why do you think it's important for men and people of all gender identities to really stand in solidarity with women around issues like this and beyond?
Allyship. I think one of the people who was speaking said it best, that our privilege, my privilege as a male, needs to be used to help those who lack that privilege. When you have strength, you have to help lift others up alongside you. That's your duty as a human being. Sorry, I'm a bit at a loss for words, but I think that in the end, as a person with any form of privilege, which every person has, you have to stand up for everyone else. That's your duty. It's not just like a man standing up for a woman, a female Supreme Court justice. It's a person standing up for another person, no matter who they are. You have to stand up for them. That's your job. That's what it is.
And this might be similar to the response you just gave me, but one of the asks of the organizers tonight was to say, what are you going to do going forward to keep the legacy and keep doing the work? So what's your part?
Well, I signed up to be a poll worker. I turned 18 this June, so I'm definitely voting. I'm working with, I believe they're called the Unitarian Universalist Church, if you know them. Gonna start helping send texts or calls for Joe Biden, send letters, write them out, etc. The most important part of moving our country forward is making sure every voice is heard. If our voting rights are secured, if people are encouraged to vote, then everything will come in due time.
Deanne McHenry. My role is that I'm a professional in town, but I'm also a fellow activist with Marilyn. She asked me to come speak tonight. Should I hold that?
Would you be okay with that? Thank you. I don't have enough arms.
And should I be looking at the?
You could just look at me. Yeah.
Okay, look at you. Okay. So I'm I don't even like to call it an activist because it doesn't give credit to the people who have been doing the hard work for so long before me. But I am an advocate, and I'm a compassionate, engaged member of the community. And so when Marilyn asked me to come out and speak, especially about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I was honored to do so and to really reflect on what her personal legacy and the hard-fought rights, what that means to me personally. And so
and what does it mean to you personally, and how are you going to carry her work forward?
Yeah, no, thank you. So for sure, it is really important to me to fight for vulnerable people and to fight for equitable communities, and particularly for people of color, and for particularly, I didn't mention it tonight, but particularly for people who live with mental illness, and for people who experience poverty. And as I said tonight, you don't have to be a member of those communities. You don't have to have a disability or be a person of color or be an immigrant or or experience poverty. But it's incumbent upon all of us to step up and use our privilege and our voice and our position to stand up for those people and to make sure that those who have been historically marginalized, that the systems of racism and injustice in this country are dismantled so that we can create equitable communities that really truly meet the needs of everyone in society. And if we're not doing that, then we're not even doing what we're what we're called to do. That's my belief.
So my name is Elisa Boyd. I'm a Walnut Creek resident, and I brought my 2 daughters out with me tonight for the vigil for RBG because she was a woman of distinction that I want them to know of and know what she did for them and for others, and to know that they need to come out and show up for what they believe in and fight for the rights for everybody, women, people of color, LGBTQ, immigrants, and making sure that they speak up to make sure that the world is a better place for them and for their children.
And one of the things that the organizers did tonight was ask everybody, what are you going to do to keep her legacy alive and keep moving forward with her work? Have you thought about, it sounds like you're already doing a lot, but is there a special commitment that you are making tonight
Yes.
as we're thinking about this?
Absolutely. I come out to a lot of the marches, the Women's March here. There were a lot more people out for the Black Lives Matter movement early after George Floyd's unfortunate murder. So my commitment and what I show my children is to show up and speak out. And so we've continued to come out, even with the numbers dwindling, for these protests to demand police accountability, reform, a 24/7 mental health crisis response as opposed to a police response, to make our community safe for everyone. And I want my children to know that I expect them to speak up for the marginalized in our society, and that includes part of who they are. I have a lesbian daughter who's African American and Jewish. She lives in a predominantly white, very privileged area, and she and her younger sister also. I want them to know that they have every right to be in this community, and this community is here for them too, and they need to show up and stand up for what they believe in.